I'm Jeff Groves.
And I'm Ann Loader. Welcome to this month's edition of Police Beat. Well, Jeff, part of being a police officer is standing in wonderful weather.
Yeah.
Today we're standing in front of a traffic accident that occurred. And luckily we have other types of personnel at Fort Collins Police Department to help regular police officers out.
That specifically is referring to community service officers, which handle a bulk of the accidents here in Fort Collins. And that's what this month's show is exactly going to be on, is community service officers, what their job is, what equipment they use, and how they go about it.
We'd like to introduce you to one of our community service officers, which from now on we'll refer to as a CSO. This is Karen Spalding. Karen, first of all, how long have you been with the Fort Collins Police Department as a CSO?
I've been with the department 3 years.
That's great.
And we have other CSOs that have been on as long as 10 years, don't we?
Yes.
And maybe even a little longer. I don't actually recall when the CSO program began, but it's been in effect quite a while. Can you explain to our viewers why the CSO program came into effect?
The CSOs came into effect because there was an overload on what the police officer's job was requiring of the officers that did not need a police officer to actually do. So, for instance, traffic accidents, although police officers can do all of CSO's jobs, including traffic accidents, trespasses, abandoned vehicles, it frees the police officers up to be able to do their jobs, such as, domestic violence, disturbances, weapons calls, things like that, and not be bogged down with the abandoned vehicles.
Okay. Are there specific types of calls that community service officers can't handle?
Yeah, we have no powers of arrest, and we do not carry a gun. Because of that, dispatch won't send us to disturbances, anything that there are suspects on, like DUIs, anything that would involve an arrest type situation or confrontational situations. Most of the calls that we take are cold calls with no suspects, and as I said, traffic accidents, abandoned vehicles, traffic complaints, stalled cars, things that are very non-confrontational.
Karen, with talking about traffic accidents, which when I think of a CSO, you guys take a lot of the traffic accidents for us officers, but I know both you and Jeff are both accident techs where you have additional training in accident investigations. Could you kind of reflect a little bit on that and what your extra training helps you do?
What we've done is take the traffic investigation, the regular report writing that we take on a regular basis, and taken it to a higher level. We do the serious injury accidents as well as the fatal accidents. And we do the diagramming, we do all the technical investigations of the vehicles, speed determinations, all of that. So we just take it to a higher level with also there are 2 other CSOs that are also on the accident investigation team.
Mm-hmm.
How many CSOs does the department have total, do you know?
Right now one just retired. We have a total of 9, but with being short the 1, we now have 8 that actually work on the streets and patrol.
I know that one of the big advantages to the CSO program for the citizens of Fort Collins is that there is a lower cost involved. Is that true?
Yes, we get paid less than regular police officer because there isn't as much risk.
But that doesn't diminish the importance of the CSO position in any way, does it?
Oh, no, not at all.
I know a lot of the officers are thrilled to have the CSOs because of all the accidents they take and all the jobs that we don't have to do specifically that can enable us to focus. But the CSO is a career position too for some people, right?
For some people, they choose to stay in the career, as a CSO in the career position. They can stay in, however long they want. Some CSOs, however, use it as a stepping stone. Some come in thinking it's a career and then eventually realize that they would like to move on to be a police officer.
And we've had quite a few do that, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Karen, one thing the citizens of Fort Collins should know is the difference in appearance of both vehicles and uniform with the CSO versus a Fort Collins police officer. Why don't you explain that?
Our vehicles are different because we have the amber lights instead of red and blues. Because of that, we're not allowed to pull people over, make traffic stops, nor are we able to run code, like running through, the intersections with our lights going and our sirens going. They're higher visibility than the red and blues so that they show up really well so that when we're on scene at an accident, they can see us well. Mm-hmm. As far as our uniforms look really similar from where you're looking at us now. We do have a different colored badge. We have the silver badges as opposed to the gold. Mm-hmm. Our pants are different. Right now we have gray pants. And if we were wearing ties, we have gray ties instead of the officers' blue ties. Mm-hmm. But we are changing uniforms, or will be soon be changing uniforms, so we're supposed to look considerably more different so that people will be able to distinguish between us to help reduce the liability of someone mistaking us for a police officer so that we may not get injured because they will be able to tell the difference. Also, on our belts, we do not carry the gun, and we don't obviously carry rounds for the gun. We do carry mace, mm-hmm. and we can carry a knife if we choose, but we do not also carry a baton.
Thanks for being with us, Karen.
All right, thank you.
We want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Police Beat and hope you learned some more things about the CSOs in our police program.
Also, we want to remind you that coming up in the next few months, Fort Collins will be involved in a seatbelt enforcement program sponsored by the Colorado Department of Transportation. Officers will be out issuing summonses for seatbelt violations when we observe them. So remember to buckle up. Thank you for watching. See you next month.
Fort Collins Police Services responds to about 3,000 alarms each and every year. These alarms come in the form of burglar alarms, panic alarms, and hold-up alarms. In 1992, Fort Collins Police Services did a study that indicated that 99% of the alarms that we responded to were false, and they were caused normally by mistakes that users of their systems caused. To a much lesser extent, equipment malfunctions were to blame. Internal adjustments that police services made in regard to 1992 studies and some subsequent looks at our statistics and responses helped in us spending less time on alarm calls. However, the percentage of false alarms has remained fairly constant at about 99%. This rate's very consistent with the nationwide trend also in the number of false alarms. It's important for anyone with an alarm system to realize how important it is for that system to be used properly and to be maintained properly. So it's incumbent upon any business or a homeowner or anyone that is taking care of a business or a home to know how to, one, be familiar with the system and use it properly, and two, make sure that there is regular maintenance on that system, just as you would maintain any other equipment in your office or home things such as lawnmowers in your automobile. These burglar alarms and alarm systems are tools, and we want them to serve their intended purpose. Your operation and maintenance of the alarm system will help Fort Collins Police Services provide better service to our entire community. Your alarm system will also do what it's intended to do. That is, to prevent crime and to help catch burglars and robbers. Alarm systems are very useful pieces of technology and equipment in our society today. This is just one way that by Fort Collins Police, businesses, and homeowners working together, that we can make an impact on how we provide service to our community. Thank you.